Hello everyone. I hope you're having a lovely day or night, wherever you guys live. Before this video starts, there are a few things that I would like to say before the video begins. And that is, I am sorry that I was almost gone for 2 whole months. I assure all of you, I did not plan to be gone for this long from YouTube. Problem is, the important part of my equipment broke, my phone, and I had to get repaired. So I had to save up the money. I also had to, find a shop that could repair my phone. So yeah. Hopefully, those of you who do YouTube can understand why I took so long. So yeah. I know some of you won't understand, and I got no problems with that. So if some of you want to get mad and shout at me in the comment sections, go right ahead. All I'll probably do is get a good laugh out of it. But yeah. With that out of the way, I would like to, also say, and this will just be, an alert and a update on the channel itself. As I said before, all of my, fantasy-based what-ifs and stories will be moved over to my Demonic Radio Host channel, so my personal channel. But don't worry, everyone. There will be a link to the Demonic Radio Host for those of you who want to, only watch fantasy-based what-ifs and stories. As I know a lot of you guys are, kind of split in between my fantasy-based what-ifs and, my sci-fi-based what-ifs. So yeah. Hopefully those of you who, enjoy those ones will like my new channel better than, the What If crew. And this will also help me as I no longer have to, focus on what series I need to do or what type of area, as now I have a channel strictly dedicated to, fantasy, so stuff like magic, alternate, universes colliding, and stuff like that. So yeah. On another note, I will be putting a lot of references and, stuff to, just Halo, its lore, and just everything like that within this first part. If any of you can, figure out what's from Halo, and if you guys can type that in the comment section, you guys will be allowed to, make one OC. I would like to tell you guys, though, this will be first come, first serve, as I will only be allowing the first 3 to respond, and I will know if you guys are correct or not with this. So yeah. You guys can, decide if you want them to be UNSC personnel, my hero, or villain. So yeah. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. With this out of the way, though, I guess I should start this video. As we cut to, the UN building. As we can see a few nations in one of the office rooms. Some of the heads of ones. As we can see, the current leaders of Japan, US, UK, France, Germany, Russia, the Commonwealth, and just, all the first world countries, basically. They're either rich or high in, resources. As we simply see, the leader of America shouting about injustice, a slight to, the UN and everything that they have worked for. As we can see, the leader of the British simply calmly sitting there, reading the headlines of a newspaper. UN relief force destroyed. All soldiers killed. As we can see, a few bodies strewn around, as the picture shows, a flagpole with a flag with a banner on it. As we can see it as a, red flag with a white circle and a fist in the center. As Britain just simply sighs, saying, "Listen, I understand you're mad, and you have every right to be president. As I am not very happy about this either, but we can't simply charge in there. The insurrectionists have themselves dug in deep in the Middle East. And we know that their aim is to destroy us. To tear down, the old governments and replace them with newer ones. As we simply see, Russia simply smoking inside the room. As they plucked the cigar from their, mouth and put it on the ashtray, letting it burn for a little bit. As the Russian simply says, "I suggest we use, Project Orion." As the whole room goes quiet. As the President of America is just grinning like a madman, saying, "Finally, someone here who is speaking actual sense." As we simply see Canada from the Commonwealth with its current Prime Minister simply saying, "I don't think that that's a very good idea. We only have one, Orion candidate left that's still alive. The others died early on through, the training, and then also died, and then almost all of them died in augmentation. And let's not forget how much, that hurts Melissa Shield. After all, she was the one who made the armor and the augmentations. as we simply see, well, America and Russia giving Canada the stink eye, but grudgingly listening to, well, Canada anyways. As Russia simply says, well, if you don't do something, I will. The Middle East has been too much of a problem. Their oil supply is just not worth it anymore, in my opinion. Neither is their material resource. If Orion will not be activated, I will simply just nuke the area. With the rest of the council getting up into uproar against Russia, with a lot of them saying that you can't do that, and that you'll be committing a war crime. With America simply taking a deep breath and screaming for everyone to shut up. As America simply looks at Canada, its oldest ally, and one of its last true friends when it comes to the first world countries. As the president gives a sad smile to the prime minister, as he simply says, "Sorry, old friend, but I fear we have no choice but to activate, well, Operation Uppercut. We already have the base grounds for what we are dubbing the UNSC. A unconventional force, basically. You know we already have the USS Hope up in orbit. With the Prime Minister looking a bit downcast, saying, I know that this is our only option, but I just think we're being a bit rash here. After all, either way we do this, there's still going to be mass amount of life lost. As the President simply puts a hand on the Prime Minister's shoulder of Canada, as he simply says, "Don't worry. You can do what your country does best these days. Go in and give, well, relief to those who survive. If it needs to happen, I'll throw me and Russia under the bus, making us look like the bad guys." With the Prime Minister smiling and shaking his head, saying, "No, not this time. I think by this day, once, well, Operation Uppercut is initiated, most of the world and civilians will look at us like monsters." As we cut to, well, the USS Hope up in, well, orbit, as we see a frigate. As we cut to, well, a room with multiple monitors, as we can see, well, the faces of the people on the monitors are covered by shadow. As we can see, well, a woman in a white dress uniform in the middle of the room. As we simply hear one of the voices simply say, "Commander." I assume you know that we are not calling you for, well, pleasantries. With the commander of the ship nodding, saying, "Well, that's what I'm assuming here." With another voice coming in, it has come to our attention that, well, the UN force can, well, no longer handle this problem with the insurrectionists diplomatically. It's time that the UNSC, well, comes out and, well, shows itself to the world. As we have built, well, the UNSC to be the sword and shield of humanity. As the commander simply goes, "Alright, I'm having trouble now understanding what you're getting at, sir." With a accented voice, as we now know as Russia, simply cutting in, saying, "I am not going to tiptoe around what we are asking you. You're to go through with Operation Uppercuts. Do I make myself clear, Commander?" With the commander's eyes widening immensely. With the commander of the ship saying, "But that means we need to activate the sergeant. The sergeant is not field tested. And I think you all know that Dr. Shield will not allow this. Not after, well, she sees as her greatest failure." With Russia simply responding, "Commander, I could give less of a damn about what Dr. Shield wants. Right now, the insurrectionists are winning, Commander. And not every continent has a All Might. You must understand, this is our only choice, other than nuking the Middle East." With the commander getting her, well, posture and, well, mind back together, as she simply says in, well, a cold tone, with her simply saying, and I imagine this means that, well, after Operation Uppercut, we are to initiate with Operation First Strike, attacking the base of operation of the insurrectionists and wiping them out for good. With a much more softer voice coming through, saying, "I understand your dislike for this choice. If I had my way on the council, Operation Uppercut would have never even been initiated. Neither First Strike. But you must understand, we do not want a World War III on our hands here. Not with quirks being, well, so abundant these days. The loss of life would be more devastating than a nuke could ever cost, in my opinion, Commander. But we are allowing you, well, full use of your troops and equipment. you'll also have access to, well, the secret bases that we have had, well, put across the world and our nations. As the commander simply breathes in, saying, "Alright, one question though, sirs. Why am I being put in charge of this? I'm only a captain." As we simply hear from, well, a much more well-mannered voice. "Well, that's fairly simple, Captain. Or should I say, High General of the UNSC." As the commander simply blinks, as she says, "Sir, I'm sure that there are more people qualified than me for this particular position. I'm only a captain. I never went through, well, the training to be a general." As we simply hear from, well, the accented Russian, "Listen, General. The best learn from experience, not from a book or, well, sitting behind a desk, looking at a chalkboard. We expect great things from you from now on. Don't disappoint us." As we simply hear from, well, the more cultured voice. "I don't agree with how, well, our violent friend phrased it, but he is correct. We are hoping great things from you, General. We hope that your, well, operation goes well." As all the monitors go off, as the now, well, General simply looks at the monitors dumbfounded. As we cut to, well, the bridge of the USS Hope, as it's looking down on, well, the Middle East from orbit. As the doors slide open to reveal the now new ranked general, or High General, of the now UNSC High Command. As she simply, well, thinks to herself as she smiles. As she simply, well, makes a decision. As we see her look at one of her men, as she simply says, "Corporal," with the corporal saluting, saying, "Yes, Commander." As she simply says, "Get the ship on red alert. I want our ground units ready to be prepped and launched from the base. We're throwing everything in. Operation Uppercut is being initiated." As the corporal's eyes widen at this information, as he simply stammers out "Of course, ma'am." As he runs over and presses some, keys on his terminal, with parts of the ship darkening with a red light going off along with an alarm. With a voice speaking over the intercom, "All ground units, gear up, get prepped. Operation Uppercut is being initiated. Head to the planned locations for your drops. Your rides will be waiting for you at the hangars. Now move it, soldiers." As this would be replaying on repeat. As we cut to, a interesting room, as we can see, pods opening up, with the same, phrase being repeated through the speakers in this room. As we see a glass, room not too far above it, as we see two, cryo engineers with white uniforms and, in white jumpsuits with blue markings, with the UNSC logo. As we simply hear through, the intercom, as we see, another cryo technician enter the room, heading straight for a cryopod at the center of one of the support pillars. As once they get to the terminal, they start pressing buttons, as one of them simply says, "All right, specialists. Life signs are green for the lieutenant." With the specialist activating his earpiece saying, "Wait, I thought this was the sergeant." "The new rank just came up from the command bridge. The sergeant's been promoted to a lieutenant." "Doesn't matter, though. Just get him out." Are we even sure it's a he? It might even be a she. "Specialists, can it just start going with the defreezing procedures? Understood?" With the specialist simply nodding, saying, "Understood, sir." As we can see, the frost starts to lessen, as we see a golden visor with some parts of green and black showing, with the green and black being, the armor plating of the armor within, the cryopod. As we can see the visor glow a little bit. Alright, everyone. This is where I'm ending this what if. As I said before the video, for those of you who can, find the references and that, and, the little homages that I made to, some things in Halo, I will give those who are correct with their guesses the opportunity to add one OC. As I said, they can pretty much be everything under the sun, as they might not even go in this particular what if. But if you make a OC for this particular what if, I won't mind. But yeah. Also, for those of you who didn't like, well, how sci-fi this particular what if was, as I said earlier, there will be a link to, well, the Demonic Radio Host channel, my personal one, in the description of this video, as I will also have it on my community tab as well. There will also be a link to my Discord in the description as well, so you guys can post your OCs, and I don't have to go for the comments for them on the video. If you guys liked this particular what if, don't forget to, well, share it with those you know who you think will enjoy it as much as you did. On that note, though, have a good night or day, depending on where you are regionally. So, yeah. Bye, everyone, and I am glad to be back.